Hello and welcome, this is Teresa, and on my channel today I wanted to show you how you can use your embossing folders to make some Christmas cards, but also using your Gelli plate. So I'm using a 5x7 Gelli plate here. I'll be using acrylic paints for my examples today, and the reason I wanted to use the acrylic paint is because I wanted them to dry in between. If you use dye inks or inks for stamping, they don't dry on the Gelli plate, so some of these techniques, I know it's harder to get layers with the dye inks. So for this first one, I'm using the embossed texture to kind of pull away some of that paint or most of that paint. Then I'm taking just a plain white cardstock piece right here. This is a 110-pound white cardstock, and I'm just putting it right over the remaining paint that was left on the plate. I'm just making sure I'm making really good contact. And this is what that first print looks like. I pressed really hard on that first one, so a lot of the ink came up. So on my next view, I'm going to press a little bit lighter. I'm just going to clean the plate by putting some of this silver on the gel plate and just clean up. I'm basically taking that exact same print and pulling it again with the silver, which is pretty see-through, and it's actually a champagne color, and just seeing what that looks like. Now I am eyeballing. I'm not using anything to help me line things up except the line that's on the Gelli plate. So this one did not line up perfectly, but I think it still looks pretty cool. It's got the shine to it with the silver, and then it's got the matte blues. So I liked how that turned out. This next one, I'm going to try doing some silver and blue instead of just blues. That little blob on my gel plate actually came off from my roller. My brayer, it had a piece of paint and it came off on the gel plate, so warning, sometimes that happens. I ended up just peeling off that little piece that was left. And now I'm feeling to make sure my gel plate is dry, and I'm putting this iridescent, kind of like a purpley color, because I wanted it to make it look like the snow was shimmery. This is a good time to use some of those sparkly or shiny paints, because with the snow on this type of a design, it kind of makes it look more like snow. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just lining it up in the center. I'm putting my blank piece of paper over that little square area. This piece of paper on top is just to make it so I can rub it in really well. So this is my second one. This one I liked a lot. This one turned out really nice with the blue and the silver, and then that iridescent. So my next step is to emboss this based off of where the original embossed design was. So I lined it up as best as I could, and once I ran it through the die cutting machine, I had a really nice embossed piece with the ink in the inside. And again, you could do this with the dye inks on the inside. I just wanted to have some of that shimmer acrylic paints, and you can't really get the same effect with acrylic paints. I guess you could, I haven't tried it, but I do like how the Gelli plate will make it so that you can kind of paint inside those open areas or closed areas depending on what side of the embossed texture you're using. So for this next one, I wanted to do a nice dark color. This is a midnight matte blue acrylic paint. And I'm taking that first side that I had done earlier. This is just still my texture plate. So this particular one I'm just using to create my textures. Which this one, once I'm done with it, this one actually looks like it could be its own background as well. So I let that dry, and I'm going to use this Dragonfly Glaze. It's just a shiny, again, another one of my glittery paints that I have. Gonna line that back up again, right over the image. This time, I decided to use my roller, my brayer on top of it to press it out versus a piece of paper on top. So however you like to do it. If this goes on a card, I won't be seeing the back side of it anyway. So that's how this one turned out. Again, it's got that shimmer, but you can't really see it on camera. In person, you can see the shimmer, but it was hard to capture that on the camera. I do like how this one turned out, and I embossed this one as well. And once it came out embossed, it was really cool. It actually had a little bit of an offset from the design, and I thought that actually looked pretty cool. It almost looked like shadows, like on the street or the road that was there. So I thought this one turned out really nice. So now let's do another one. I'm going to use that same dark blue, the midnight blue. This time I'm going to get a little bit artsy. I'm going to try something different here. So first I'm going to pull up my texture using that same embossing folder. And now I have just this nice kind of clean background here, but I wanted to let it dry, and then I wanted to paint almost to make it look like it had some glowingness to them with the yellow and the gold. I noticed my paintbrush was picking up some of the blue, so I let it dry a little bit longer. So these first few houses, they did still smear a little bit of the blue, so I would recommend waiting until the paint is completely dry before doing this step. I think I was just too excited and just got right to work and started blending the blues in a little bit, but it ended up being all right. Just some of the blues in the first few houses did smear just a little bit. So the gray, I'm using like a light gray color to fill in what would be the trees and the snow area in the street area, and then the yellow and gold is for like the houses in the church. After that layer dried on the plate, then I used a silver paint, and this is just to pull the print. You may see the silver just a little bit through the gaps, but mostly you're not going to see this color. It's just to pull the print up. This is a plain white piece of paper. I'm just using this paper on top again just so I can rub it out and make sure I'm getting good even pressure on this background piece here. And here we go. This is my kind of hand painted look. You can see the ones on the bottom, the little houses on the bottom did get a little smeary, but actually looking back on it, it kind of looks more hand painted this way, and it looks pretty cool. So I embossed it, and with it being embossed, it does look like this really nice hand-painted embossed background. I would play around with this one a little bit more and see what different kind of effects I could get with that. But for now, for this video, I'm just going to stop here with these four. So this is the hand-painted look, this is the blue, and it has shimmery snow. Hard to tell on camera. Then this is my texture that had both sides that I had used. So I could use this one as a background as well. I thought that one actually looked pretty cool. This was that first one that I did. I would say this was probably my flop. Didn't like that one so much. And then this one turned out really nice. I liked the soft colors on this one. It really looked like a snowy scene. So I wanted to make a card out of one of these backgrounds. I have this little kit that I got on sale last year at Hobby Lobby, and it's this kind of like a wreath, and it came with some like a pop-up dome kind of a thing, and then it comes with all the elements, a little wreath, and it embosses the little wreath designs in the cutout. It gives instructions on how to assemble it. I'm not going to go into too much instruction on this video, but I'll just kind of show you my pieces and how I put it together. So I'm starting with my background, and I'm just kind of playing out with my pieces, making sure I know what order I want to put them in. I cut out a background circle with the words Merry and Bright in the center of that. It's a silver that I made a jelly print out of, just a silver jelly print piece. Cut out the circle, cut out Merry and Bright. Then I cut out Merry and Bright from some dark blue cardstock. I also cut out some of those little inside pieces. It's like little confetti pieces that comes with the die set here, just so it would match. I'm gonna just pretty quickly assemble this all together. Since the silver kind of blended in with that background pretty closely, I went ahead and pieced in Merry and Bright with this darker blue color so that it stands out better. I'm just using wet glue for these, liquid adhesive. You could run these through like a sticker maker or Xyron machine. I thought about that after I'd done this, but it wasn't too bad to do with the glue, the wet adhesive. Kind of like putting a puzzle piece together. Once everything was nice and flat and nothing was sticking up, then I went ahead and put all my little pieces in the inside. So I'm starting with these little dark blue confetti pieces that I cut out. And then this is just some snow from Dollar Tree. They sell it at Christmas time. In fact, I think they're selling it right now, but this I got last year. They just sell these little baggies, and I put the leftovers in a Ziploc bag because their bags fall apart. But this makes for some really great snow in a shaker card. And then I have these really pretty stars, so I went ahead and added those to this as well. Once everything was kind of in the center of this circle, I added the little dome piece for the shaker card. Everything lines up really nicely because this is all part of that set. So I really liked how easy it was to put all of this together and assemble it. And there we go. It shakes, it works, and it's not leaking. So it works nicely. Next, to cover up the plastic, I'm putting this wreath around the border. And then these little snowflakes, these dies come with the set as well. So I cut out from that same silver, like the background ornament looking piece. I just cut out 3 little silver snowflakes and just glued those onto the top. And we're almost done with this card. I went ahead and put it on a navy blue background. I did have to trim down my embossed piece just a little bit so that there would be a border to this card so the blue would show through. I think the total size was 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. And that will sit nicely on a 4 1/2 by 5 1/2 inch card, an A2 card base. So again, everything works real nice in the shaker part. Just needed one more thing to add. So I took that same silver jelly print paper and I cut out a little bow and I just stuck that on the top, and I think that finishes it off really nicely. So that is it for my card, and just wanted to give you some inspiration on thinking about those embossing folders that you have, especially the holiday ones, and the different ways that they can be used. So I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got some ideas. And if you're not already in the card making mood or spirit, I hope this puts you in a little bit more of a Christmas card making spirit. And if you like this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you press the like button. That way it gets into more people's feed that like this kind of video. Thanks for stopping by to watch, and I hope you have a good time crafting, and I'll see you in the next video.